Greetings from UCMC. Now, joint project of UCMC and DOBRE, a community spokespersons program, and we speak about self-governance. And if it started earlier at the beginning of independence, and if a centralized system would be demolished before, then we wouldn't have war in the East now. Historians and scientists say about this, and before there was no political will to create powerful self-governance with proper responsibilities and resources. Only in this way communities are able to build local economy and to make the country stronger. Only in 2014 the new government and Vice Premier Vladimir Groisman started the reform of self-governance, and this is the basis for all sectoral reforms. This reform in itself is really difficult, and in the context of war in the East, many believe that it is impossible to implement it, and many people criticized this reform, and they said that only after war this reform may be implemented. But the results of decentralization have shown that the right way was chosen. This is one of the ways to fight for strong Ukraine. So how decentralization strengthens Ukrainian statehood, and we are going to speak about this topic with Vitaliy Datsko, head of Pidvolochisk consolidated community. I would like to note that you created your community in 2015, and you initiated it, and you went to defend the eastern border of Ukraine. Why did you take this decision if you knew that you had to build community? Remembering those times, these were hard times. There were fightings in the east. Each person wanted to help to stop it. Our community was created in July 2015, but I was mobilized and I was in the East, and we spoke on the phone, and we thanked the deputies who helped us with the decisions for creation of our community. So I decided to go there, and I understood, and each person understand that everyone should contribute. Then we should return back and to build community and the country, because each community is a part of Ukraine. And after elections in October 2015, I was serving until 2016 due to the team deputies, and they took all the responsibility at that time. And I believe that our community didn't lose the pace of development during that time. I believe it was built in a good way, and we formed our bodies, we took our responsibilities, and in May in 2016 we had elections of elders, and we started to build our community, and during these 3 years I believe we do it in a good way. And did you believe that reforms should be implemented after the war? There are two aspects in this. One German philosopher said that there are old politicians and obsolete politicians. You shouldn't be obsolete. The reform should be implemented when it is needed. We should not be afraid to undertake responsibility. Sometimes new people do not know how self-governance work, and it would be difficult if they will do some wrong. At the same time, there are many successful countries where you may get some models for Ukraine. Of course, we should take into account our mentality distances our state, we may make some corrections and implement this reform. And I believe that we follow Polish way of reforms, and this reform was successful in Poland. Of course, we should make some corrections, but on the whole, I see that this decentralization, if it is successful, I think that it will help us to bring peace, because successful communities, people will see them. They will see that using their own forces, they may contribute, and each community, they are powerful, and this will be synergy throughout Ukraine. And you have a lot of experience in self-government. So you started your work in 2010, as I remember. So how self-governance, strong self-governance, can contribute to Ukrainian statehood? So I believe that all heads of the communities may speak about successes in their communities, but we have 840 communities in Ukraine that were amalgamated, and each community wants to be successful. It allows to bring investment, to get grants, opportunities, to attract resources to the community. That's why each community tries to be better, and in this competition, the muscles strengthen. And I believe that Ukrainian statehood may benefit in this good competition, because each want to show how good they work. And on the whole, I believe that Ukraine benefits from this. So each community and central executive power, they should coordinate their efforts, and in such a way we will have big steps ahead. Now let's speak about your community in more detail. Going back from war, did you understand that you have some problems with roads, obsolete infrastructure, and many other problems? And the consequence, such as reduction in number of population. Yes, I thought like this then. Infrastructure and services to people, we should improve it, because it was not done. There were some minor changes before. But now I have a different view. If we are speaking about community, now the main is economic development of the community. If we have taxes, if you have profits, we may be able to create better roads, schools, kindergartens, water lines, and any other types of services. Also, they create cooperatives and agricultural facilities, cafes, restaurants, hotels. Yes, we do not have many of them, but I see that the community is developing economically, and I believe when it works, then people stay, their children will stay in the community. And I believe that the most important is the attraction of investment in order that people build here, and then the children will be able to stay here, and this will be economic development for the community. It is not easy to attract an investment. Investors look at personnel, specialists, for example, if they want to build some plant. But I would like to know what benefits did you get to develop economy? what was the source, because before you were not able to do this. So obligations were shifted to us, economic, land responsibilities, and we are working directly with investors, with entrepreneurs, because we provide the opportunity to speak about responsibility. We do not just delegate and they decide whether to do it or not. So those services that we can provide, and this is a step that allows us to attract these investments. And did you get budget for self-sufficiency? Yes, we have opportunity to attract, to use the forecast, and we have opportunity to see the prospects. And it was my second term in office. We had some taxes that remained for the salary only. There was no development. And now we may create projects. We create a project on filtering, and we may attract investment in this area. Also, water supply line should be replaced, and this is a big problem, and it will be difficult for us, and we need subventions for this, and we need money for this. We need somewhere to refer to. So in the framework of our responsibility, now we may plan for several years. I heard on TV, I won't name the politician, but he said that money in communities are not due financial decentralization, but because 10 million Ukrainians went abroad as labor migrants. Can you confirm it or reject it? No. I believe that the structure of the budget changed. We have direct link with the Cabinet of Ministers and the Ministry of Finances, and not just locally when the regional council allocated the budget. And according to budget code, we have proceeds, and we may develop these sources. So the subvents calculated on the number of children, medical subvents. So we have all this, and we may also add. Now we have the right to set taxes, and here one should know how to do it. You may put a little high taxes, but you may put smaller taxes. You should find some middle ground for this. So you should calculate everything properly. So 60% of income tax was provided to communities. So I believe that now communities are interested in creating new working places. Yes. In our community, income tax is the biggest share of the budget. That's why it is really important. We work with entrepreneurs. We ask them to register officially workers, and social taxes are important, and we work, and people trust us. So we spoke about budget, and Pidvolochisk community is really big, 23 settlements, 30,000 population, and this is a big community. I would like to ask, did you have some problems? For example, some people said that healthcare facilities and educational facilities would disappear, and people would need to travel many kilometers to get documents. Did these threats really happen? When community was created, I was really concerned that this may happen. And each community goes along its own way, and we decided in each elder's office to have a person who will deal with documents. the elders' office should not be closed. People should be able to come there. Administrative services, and we search for investments. And ULEAD program helped us in this. And what about the number of services provided by the center? About 100 services. Also, we will have a mobile center, and we should also digitalize the services in order that people had access from their home to get some certificates, to send some letters. Not all can do it, but in the future, I believe we will have such opportunity. Then people won't travel there. They would be able just to get the service electronically. And people, they just will do it electronically without personal attendance of the center. I believe this will be done in the nearest future. And you said that 100 services are provided to people by your administrative services center. Do people like this center? Do you have queues? No, we do not have queues. And young people work in this center, and they work rather efficiently, quickly, and we do not have queues. No complaints. Yes, there were minor faults concerning documents, and there should be requirements to the documents. Some people do not understand these requirements, and our specialists explain. These specialists say how these documents should be filled in. So our specialists explain everything to people. In the region, they didn't explain it. Yes. That's why we opened our administrative services center, because we wanted to provide quality, accessible services. So except these administrative services in this short time of existence of your amalgamated community, what other services you provide to population? You got responsibilities, I know, especially in the sphere of education. Could you tell us about the work in this area? In our community, at the place of original center that was there before, we have a school and art school, and we took it on our balance, and we wanted to redecorate them. We bought new equipment, and I'm pleased that the number of children who are in sports school, in art school, in extracurricular center, and in musical school, the number of children increases. And it is really pleasant that these children, they get primary skills, then they win not only in Ukrainian, but also in international contests. They travel abroad. Not all children will be sportsmen, musicians, art people, but they should get primary level in order to remember their childhood, in order to be developed. And it is difficult to support these centers at school, but we believe that we should do it. We should invest in our children. And it is really important to invest in children. So I saw light in your eyes when you spoke about children, when you said about the opportunities for them to have extracurricular education. About the villages, what is the situation with schools there? This is a difficult question, because a number of students at school is low. And should we close it or should we improve it? At the moment, we have one base school, And we carry out optimization of education, because if there are 3 or 8 children at school, they won't be able to provide education. So we develop big schools, we provide equipment to them. The pace of life is really high, and computers, mobile equipment, children need to know how to use them, how to search for information. They shouldn't be afraid of computers. We change equipment in schools, we optimize them. There is a simple way. For example, when kindergarten and school is in one premise and there is one director, and we save on this. But I believe that parents should also understand better what their children need. I see that you are being careful about the word optimization. Maybe this is not the right word, but I do not think we should be afraid of it. So we should do everything possible in order that our children be competitive when they go to get higher education, to get some profession. We should think, first of all, about our children and not to be afraid of the word optimization. And children should get education of high quality locally. And we believe that we should cooperate with the parents. I also read at your site of Pidvolochisk community that this year your community started to develop strategy of development. I believe it is until 2025. This is the draft document. It is not implemented. You as head of community, what are the priorities in the nearest future for you? I would like to say that the strategy, we started to develop it at the beginning of 2016. We have been developing for half a year. We didn't have experience because the community was created only in 2016. So the strategies should be really good to be implemented. So 1.5 or 3 years passed. Now we have some experience. Now we understand where this community may go to. Then DOBRE program also started to cooperate with us, and in August or September we will adopt the strategy. So it is nearly ready. We wrote a lot. I'm maybe more pragmatic. I want to be concrete, be realistic, and each person choose how to do it. I believe that I'm more pragmatic. We wrote 3 social development services to people. This is really important. Economic development, as I've said, this is really important. When you have money in the community or in the family, a person has some finances, they feel in a different way, and this also infrastructure and environment. This is also really important for people. We had discussion 5 months ago, and people provided their proposals. There were many proposals, but the group optimized all this, and I believe that we should implement it. You've said about economic development, and do you have some specific ideas how to create working places, how to get investment? Yes. So I believe that we should create economic capability based on small and medium-sized enterprises. Some people say, for example, that we need 5,000 or 10,000 personnel planned, but it is really difficult. We believe that we should develop small and medium-sized enterprises, and we should do it like in Europe, up to 50 people that will be creating some products. People will have working places. They will be more mobile, better, related to economic attitudes, and they will be able to contribute more. In our activity, we want to attract those investors. So many people want to get foreign investment, but we believe that we should get Ukrainian investment. Maybe these investments are smaller, but we would like to, we do not reject foreign investment. We have solar batteries. We are open for cooperation for everyone. We create not opportunities, but we really cooperate with people. So the main is to have these working places for our people. So we spoke about finances, about responsibilities that were provided to community. So local government got a lot from the state, and it should have been done long time ago, but it happened only now. But the state doesn't provide proper control over efficiency of the decisions of local governance, and many people complain about it. We do not have proper state control over these decisions. And I would like to know your opinion as a representative of self-governance. I know that many colleagues of yours are against such control, but what do you think? If the state had some control over decisions, that would help to prevent violations, not just punishing for them. So what would be the benefit of it? I believe that there should be control. If we speak about decentralization, I have experience in this. Somewhere there can be heads who may make some manipulations. Other heads may be manipulated by other people. So control is not about shift of obligation. There should be control to prevent some violations. I believe that, for example, whether it should be done by executive power or some other branch, we all work for people, and we should do our best for Ukrainians. We should introduce changes. There is association of cities, there are different bodies where self-governance may get united and say, for example, something creates obstacles. But I believe that we should have well-ordered control, and then we will be more protected. For example, Prozoro, everything is controlled concerning procurement. Any payment document is on the site in the internet, and you may find information about it. And no one wants to abuse it. You cannot hide. Now we have internet. Everything is transparent. But also we need some help, because some incompetent people may do something wrong. They do not know how self-governance works, how the state works. There may be some unconscious mistakes. I believe there should be control. It should be reasonable, and this matter should be discussed. And we worked under rigid control, and all the decisions were brought to prosecutor's office, and it was all verified. Now I believe that people are more conscious and they won't abuse. And at the beginning of 2019, Vladimir Groisman, Prime Minister, started second stage of decentralization, and among the tasks of the second stage is the formation of the new efficient regions. I know that Pidvolochisk became a regional center in 1940, and now situation changed. We are not living in the Soviet Union. Now there is different approach to territory management. And in Ukraine we have 18 or 19 regions, the territory of which is fully covered by amalgamated communities, but there are regional council and regional administrations there, but the responsibilities went to amalgamated communities, and now they face conflict of interests. What can you tell us about the formation of the new regions? Because today, when they start discussion about it, they always say about the number of regions, not about their content. I would like to say that the reform of the decentralization should be completed. We should shift to these communities, because if in one territory 3 bodies work, administration, regional council, and regional powers. So before we had some so we should divide responsibilities of administration and communities. This is big work, and I believe that until 2020, until elections, this should be completed. And also I would like to say, I would like to go back to successful experience of the countries about, for example, Polish decentralization. They have powiats. These are big regions. And also we plan medical districts in Ternopil Oblast. We plan 4 such regions. So in Lanievci and Zbaraj, and sanitary station in Cherkov. So they are all in different. If, for example, we are in Ternopilsky region and we have the best communication with Ternopil, and it should be in Ternopil. We have 4 electrical trains that are going there. These big regions, we should do it for 5 years to see whether they are efficient. To work for 2 or 3 years to see whether they are efficient, and if they are not efficient, then to divide them between oblast and community. We may not need regions, but we should take into account that our country is really big. Maybe regions are needed. In Poland, they have powiaty, and we should have content. They should be responsible. They should have proper responsibilities. In Poland, there is gmina for small and medium-sized business, powiat for big business, and vojevodstvo for international investment. McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and they collect taxes, and MENA, small and medium-sized business, powiat, are interested in big enterprises, and what they are interested in big world brands, and they all work together, and each branch attracts investment, and on the whole country develops. So we should study their experience. So you answered this question. You've said that tax office is in another, other services in another region. So there is no equal distribution of executive bodies. That's why there should be territorial territorial basis in order to have in one region the representation of all these institutions in order that people be able to get quality services. So our time is up. I made conclusion that you personally, as the head of the community, and your community is a good example, and we spoke how decentralization strengthens Ukrainian statehood, and I hope that you found answers to this question in our program. Thank you. Till the next time. Goodbye.